Hello, this is Tatiana with Truth Ball in Search of Goof. Okay, so this is going to be, I think we're going to call it like maybe round two, survival strategies, court, and mediation. So I woke up at 3 o'clock this morning and I'm like, all right, I'm starting to really pull it together, even though I'm up at 3. So I got to post an update. And I thought, like, okay, take a shower and make myself look good. And I'm like, nah, I really need to be honest with my peeps. Okay, so this is kind of half, survival strategies and an update regarding my court case, which of course I can't tell you what it's about. But in the previous video, I was talking about survival strategies for court, pretty much kind of, saying like you need to go gray rock and get a lawyer. No matter what you're dealing with a narcissist. Okay, so I can tell you I'm representing what really happened the last few days since my court, the first court summons. I really fell apart. I really, really, like I was in danger of actually launching into depression. Okay, but this is the thing. I do live what I tell you to do, what I suggest for you to do. And I could feel the depression and, like this lurking evil monster down the hallway. I'm not sure if any of you have ever seen, I haven't seen a lot of, what is that show? Doctor Who? The one with the TARDIS? I know. I can't even remember. Anyway, that television show, there was an episode where there was this like monster that you could hear in the hallways, and it was like, anyway, that is what the depression felt like. It's like lurking. Okay, so coming to what happened. He's a narcissist, this person I'm dealing with. It's not an ex-boyfriend or anything like that. But sure enough, I'll tell you exactly how it goes. Okay, because I've been there before when you have to go to court against somebody who really is scary. So I have been there before, and this is what I did is as I showed up at the courthouse, I know at some point this person is going to show up as well. And so when I signed in, I could see that the other person had not arrived yet, meaning I could see the sheet of paper where they were marking who had checked in. I can see he had not checked in. So I look at all the seating areas. And survival strategy, I sat as far away from all of the seating areas as possible. Not because I'm trying to hide from him, but because I know for a fact that he is going to try and intimidate me. So, sure enough, of all the empty places to sit, when he signed in and we're waiting to actually go into the courtroom, he sat down on my bench. And I gray rocked it. And of course, inside, I'm like, whoa, he really is a psycho. He's doing exactly what I thought he would do. But I'm not going to look at him, and I'm continuing to read my notes and prepare myself. Once we go into the courtroom, there's rows of seats. And he is in the second to last row. So I sit in the last row, right? I don't want to antagonize nothing. I'm just trying to keep away from him. So, sure enough, I'll show you the body language, because it was just body language. Excuse me, honey. And then he had to turn his body, since I'm behind him, and stare me down. So, as I'm sitting, I'm getting my booty ready for my chair. At the last moment, I looked up, and he fully gave me this intimidating look. And I can define, my loves, there is a difference between being scared and being intimidated, okay? Because he does scare the shit out of me. He really does. And he knows a lot of people in my community. He scares the shit out of me. But I'm not intimidated. So I'm sure you've heard that saying before, do it afraid. I'm doing it afraid. And that's my advice. Again, a survival strategy. Do it afraid. When you have to go to court, it's okay that you're afraid. It's okay. It's hard, but it's okay. You have to stand up to bullies. And you know, it, as I said in the beginning of the other video as well, I'm not a lawyer. I'm not a lawyer, but I am telling you that each bully I have stood up to, narcissist, abusive person, most of them are just totally shocked that somebody stands up to them. Most of the time, a bully will back down just by standing up to them. Okay, he didn't back down. But most of the time they do, okay? So anyway, so the judge did call us up, and as I said in the first video, when it was our turn, you know, she offered mediation. And it was just like my lawyer had said. It was simple. I mean, we didn't get to talk about anything. Hi, looks like you've got an issue about such and such. Would you like mediation? Yes, Your Honor. He said, well, I'll try it. And I'm like, okay, at least he's conveying to her now, the judge, what his attitude is. So we go to mediation. And I will correct what I said in my first video regarding mediation and how it's admissible in court. I did learn after mediation that, you know, there's a difference between your court-appointed mediator, the situation that we have where we have a panel of mediators just sitting there waiting to see if somebody needs a mediator, and then there's like paying a mediator. You know, you can go through your, I'm sorry, I was going to say phone book, as if any of us have a phone book anymore. But if you Google or Yelp a lawyer mediator, okay, a person that you pay to be a mediator, that person, I believe, and who knows, maybe by video 3 I'll correct myself again. I don't know. But there's a difference, because as soon as we sat down in mediation, we had to sign it's not a non-disclosure, but it's some kind of something or other where you're saying you're not going to say anything that happened in mediation. And as I'm signing it, I'm thinking, darn it all, I can't talk to you guys about this on YouTube. And I want to. I really want to. If you could see inside me. I want to tell you everything. Because it hurt. It really hurt. So I can tell you this. He did exactly what you would expect a narcissist to do. Okay? Whatever you think a narcissist would do, that is what he did. And we'll leave it there. What kicked my emotional ass and why I was crying and tipping on depression is the mediator. What the mediator did was out of left field. I was blindsided. So that's why I'm saying I just wish I could talk to you about it, because you guys, you know, because you have to kind of fill in the blank. And it's not going to be what you think. I don't think it would be what you think. I was texting a girlfriend later, and I'm like, only Tatiana has stories that turn out like this. I've never heard of this happening before. So I can tell you this. After mediation, I did contact the mediation organization. I have no rights about what happened. I did call the state bar to find out if I had any rights regarding what happened. I do not have any rights because it's an unpaid volunteer mediator. So now you know, FYI, whatever goes on in mediation stays in mediation, and you don't have any rights to fight it. However, I can tell you that we did not come to an agreement. Mediation, the only thing that would become public knowledge is if you come to an agreement, that mediator then, that volunteer mediator would then write up an agreement. It would go back to the judge, and the judge would say, okay, this is my ruling on your, there wouldn't be a ruling. Whatever we're dealing with would be dismissed as long as we both keep to that agreement. However, there was no agreement. So, again, I'm suggesting you talk to a lawyer just so you know the process, because this was the dealio. Like I said, my court time was 1:30 in the afternoon, and I had to file an answer. It's called an answer. I had to file an answer by 4 p.m. So by the time we got done with mediation, with a lack of resolutions, I have to go to the next level, which is to basically pay. I have to pay money to have a judge or jury, my choice, have a judge or jury listen to the actual both sides. So it was hustle. It was hustle. And I don't know, it would be a good thing to know ahead of time too if this is in your state, but I was able to apply for a waiver. It's like a waiver, or you can get this like payment plan for the fee that you have to pay for court. So of course this is not this isn't divorce. Okay? Divorce, that kind of stuff doesn't work, you know. But you know, since I can't tell you what my issue is, just make sure that you talk to a lawyer prior to going to your first court appearance, just so you know the timeline of what's going to happen. Because I would have been screwed, because my lawyer had told me how to apply for my waiver and that it needed to be filed by 4. So I had everything in my mind ready to go, and I ended up having to go all the way back to my house because I had forgotten some documents for my waiver. Also, another helpful thing was that I did show up to my court appearance, to the first court summons, about an hour and a half early. About an hour and a half early, just so I felt comfortable in the space. Where is this? And then I read all the signs on the wall telling you, you know, check in here, do this over here. There was a lot of stuff. And that was when I realized, within that first half an hour of being there, one of the signs, I was like, oh my gosh, I need that. And I had time to run all the way back to my house. Not run, drive. I had to drive all the way back to my home, pick up that document, and get back in time. And I made it with like 15 minutes to spare. So, which was enough time to like calm down, sign in, have that guy do that move on the bench trying to intimidate me, and kind of, you know, be in as peaceful a place as I can. And then I went to, okay, so sorry, I lost my, I was trying to give you guys the timeline, or the sequence of events. And so coming back to that, so when we, you know, in mediation, I can't tell you what happened in there, other than what I learned later, that, you know, volunteer mediation is apparently a different thing. Okay. Then, as I'm leaving the building, because I have to go to my car to grab all of my documents to go back and file my waiver, as I'm stepping out the building, he's waiting for me right outside the door the moment I step out the door. And I don't even know if he was actually on the phone or pretending to be on the phone, but he's sitting there and he was insulting me, actually calling me names, insulting me. And I'm thinking, oh my God, I can't believe I wasn't prepared for this. I should have had my phone on record, my loves. I should have had my phone on record, because in the courtroom and in the court area and in mediation, there are signs that say that you cannot record. You can't even have your phone powered on, because it says it messes up their recording devices or whatever. I don't know if that's true or not, but the fact of the matter is it was illegal to record anything that happened to me. I had no idea he'd be waiting for me outside. And why did I have no idea? I know all of you are like, of course he would have been waiting outside for you. He's a narcissist. So that was my bad. Turn your recorder on before you leave the court building or as you're leaving the court building. I don't know where, the moment it's legal. Because sure enough, he was out there waiting for me and insulting me. Now I smiled and I gray rocked him, and I got into my car, and where he was seated, he could still see into my car. And I started sending some text messages with my voice app, so it looks like I'm talking on the phone to someone, because he can see my face, and I have to stay parked where I am. I have to get my documents, get back in that building, and I'm already like, crap, now I got to walk past this guy again. And so I'm keeping my face confident, while in my phone I'm like, holy crap, I cannot believe what just fucking happened in mediation. And he's waiting outside for me, and he's insulting me. This guy scares the shit out of me, you know? Because I need, like, you know, support. I needed emotional support. And I did have some people who couldn't make it to court with me, expecting my phone call. And I did have one friend who made it to court, but had arrived after we were already in the mediation room. And I don't think that he would have treated me that way if my friend had been next to me. My friend is a well-respected man in the community, and I think just in general, maybe if I had had a man sitting next to me, he would know that somebody else is witnessing how he treated me in that courtroom. Because that concerned me too. I'm thinking, I'm not surprised that this guy would try to intimidate me in a courtroom. But nevertheless, like I'm looking up and I can see the cameras in the courtroom, but the only cameras I could see were where, the defendant and the plaintiff stand and the judge. And I'm thinking, why is there not a camera on us, the people in the courtroom? So I don't know if there is a camera somewhere, because it seems pretty darn valuable if a judge was just kind of watching the crowd before they came out and got to see what are the dynamics that are going on here. Not that it's admissible in court, but nevertheless, we didn't even have a bailiff. I don't even recall a bailiff or anyone checking for weapons or anything. And yes, this guy does have weapons. So, anyway, I did kind of get that emotional stuff out via text, and then made it to my friend's house and was able to spew the rest of it. My friend was able to give me some advice regarding what I may or may not have done wrong, in mediation that caused things to turn the way that they did. And I still feel like I can't quite share that. And I thought, yeah, it's possible. It's possible, but that mediator was out of line. I don't know if I can legally say that. Anyway, I'm leaving it in there. Okay. Anyway, so then the emotional impact was actually more, since his behavior was expected. I mean, it makes me sad. It makes me sad that people are like that in the world. The blindsided thing is what got me. The confusion, not understanding why, trying to find out why things had happened and not really getting an answer. That hurt. But I was able to meet with a lawyer that's even more experienced in my issue. And that was very, very comforting, even though that lawyer, just because of his schedule, is not able to physically represent me in court. He did give me a list of the statutes for my state. Tell the judge this, tell the judge this. And so I'll update you after the third portion, because it's later next week that I have my second court hearing. Okay, here I'm going to apologize because now you're going to have to see my terrible editing skills, but I completely forgot to tell you the last part of what happened. regarding the behavior outside the courtroom, inside the courtroom. I can't talk about what happened in mediation, and then what happened outside the court building. I did discuss this topic with the lawyer. I said I really need to hire a lawyer because this guy does scare the shit out of me. And I'm not intimidated, my whole spiel, but he does scare the shit out of me. I said, what do I do about that? And he said, it's not, because I asked him, I said, should I get a restraining order? Because he hasn't threatened to physically harm me. He is insulting me, threatening me with, court procedures, etc. The lawyer did know who I was talking about. And like I said, he is known in my community. Anyway, and so he had said that, because I was talking with my best friend, and my best friend was saying, I think that's menacing. And so I asked the lawyer, I said, so not restraining order, but is that menacing? I don't know what menacing is. I don't really understand how the law works. And he said, yes, that is menacing, which is a criminal offense. Okay, and so if you've watched my videos on restraining orders, you have to go through the process of deciding whether or not the right thing to do is a restraining order. And I now feel like, okay, menacing is the same thing. Menacing might even be worse because menacing is immediately a criminal offense as opposed to a restraining order is not a criminal offense. So in regards to the menacing, he said, yes, go right into your police department and, tell them that you want to file a menacing report. And I'm like, I don't want to antagonize this guy. And he's like, he's a lawyer, so he's matter of fact. He's like, it's menacing. So this is what I did. This was hard, guys. Okay. Anyway, so my concern was that this person, as I mentioned in the first video, used to work for the city. These are his colleagues. I mean, I'm like at the level of paranoia. Like, who does he know? Who does he know? If I'm talking to somebody, do they know him and they're not going to help me because they know him? So then, as I got home, I realized, oh yeah, remember I said I live in the country? I live just outside city jurisdiction. So, phew, I had to call the county sheriff. Okay, so that made me feel better in the first place. Okay, county sheriff. So the county sheriff comes out, I call and I say to the dispatcher, it's a non-emergency, but I spoke with my lawyer and my lawyer recommended that I file a menacing complaint, okay? And you're doing this nice and calm because you're not like, I need to file a menacing complaint, blah, 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 because you're going to get a cop showing up going, is this a drama queen? What's going on? No, I'm calmly explaining. My lawyer suggested to me that I call regarding a menacing complaint. Now, unfortunately, I missed, you call the dispatcher, and then the dispatcher is going to have a detective or an officer call you back. And I missed the call. My phone is always on silent, right? I'm such an introvert. I check my phone when I want to check my phone. That's the way it is. So anyway, I missed the call. And I'm like, oh, dang it. Because I realized my phone was on silent. And I'm like, I run over to it, restricted phone call. I had missed it. Darn it. Okay. But that means that this officer is going to show up at my house. So I'm like, whoosh, whoosh. I'm looking good. Okay. I still had on my court outfit. But I still had to fancy myself up. Like I'd taken off my jewelry, whatever. So it's like, I'm coming out as a very respectable person. And I start talking with the officer and he says, so of course, like I said, from paranoia standpoint, I was like, saying, well, my lawyer said, and so I want to ask you about this. So this is in regards to a particular, and I told him, this is the issue that I'm having with so-and-so. Do you know who that is? Because I'm thinking, there's no way that this guy doesn't know who I'm talking about. But he says no. And so I say, and I'm nice and calm, and I'm saying, look, this is the behavior that happened. The behavior is not okay, but I don't want to antagonize this person. At which point he says to me that he does know who I'm talking about. And then he says, isn't he blah, 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 blah now? And I'm like, yeah. So I'm not going to act on my face like, did you fucking know who I was talking about right from the beginning and you're bullshitting me? Did I gain your confidence so that you're willing to talk to me? Anyway, my paranoia is real. He did know who I was talking about. Anywho, so I'm thinking, he might try to protect this person, but where are my rights at this point? So this is the deal. Because I'm saying, I don't want to antagonize him. Accusing him of breaking another law, more than what we're going to court for, is going to be bad. Very, very big and bad. Socially, possibly for my court. I don't know. I don't know how bad it could be. I could really make myself paranoid, but I'm keeping calm. So I explained to him that my lawyer, this is a great thing about having a lawyer, is you can just throw the lawyer under the bus, and the lawyer is totally cool with that. So my lawyer. And then I'm saying, look, this is my concern. The guy does scare the shit out of me. I don't want to antagonize him. The problem should be resolved within, the next week or so. But I do need some type of record that I have called about this. So this is how, to the best of my understanding, how it works. I called the dispatcher. The dispatcher has a record of the fact that I called in regards to this person's name spelled correctly in regard to menacing. An officer has been dispatched to my home to discuss this person's name spelled correctly regarding menacing. That police officer is required to record something about his visit to my home. And then I said, I don't want to file the menacing. When I go to court the next time, if this repeats, I will then file the menacing. But I'm asking him like I don't know. I'm like, but something's recorded, right? Because I just want to leave it there. I don't want any problems. I don't want to make any problems. And that is the truth. I don't want to make it worse, but I do want some record that there was a concern with Tatiana so-and-so in regards to behavior from so-and-so. And that's good, because once I file a menacing report, he will be notified. Leaving it where it is, the police have a record that I've called without having to actually contact him and say, we've been notified and you have to come to court for blah, 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 blah. Okay? So I'm getting the part that I want, some type of record, just for safety's sake. If I have to actually go through with menacing, that will come out at the next court appearance. But I talked to him, the officer, and saying this was his behavior in court, and I just kind of feel like if I just have some friends with me in court, that he wouldn't have behaved that way. That's my best guess. I'm trying again, see if a couple of friends can make it. It's at an odd time during the work week, but we'll see. If I can even just get one other person to sit there, I don't think that he'll feel as comfortable treating me that way in the courthouse or outside the courthouse, etc. This person, I don't think that this person, as I said, with a restraining order, there has been no threat of violence. He's never been convicted of violence. There's no history of violence that's known. And like I said, he's not threatening my life. He is insulting me and trying to intimidate me and keep me from going with the next level of court. But there hasn't been a threat of violence. It is menacing. It is menacing. But we'll see if he goes to the next level, at which case I will hit him with everything I have and can get. But for now, what did I do? I did contact the police. There is a record. without him knowing. I'm not antagonizing it because remember, restraining orders are a penalty card. Filing a criminal menacing report would be a penalty card. It's going to make it worse. And I'm willing to stand up to worse if I thought that that would help. I don't think that that's going to help. Right now, I just want my protection. Okay, and then, like I said, I'm also hopefully going to have a couple of friends there just so that the menacing goes away. I don't want that behavior. It does scare me. So, anyway, okay. Watch my editing skills right here. Anywho, so I'm just kind of catching you up, like I said, and I'm gonna review what the survival strategies are. Do it afraid, okay? It's okay to do it afraid. You do have to stand up to a bully. I did Gray Rock, and I do believe that, of course, there was escalation. Him waiting outside the courtroom to insult me and intimidate me because I went Gray Rock. Remember, when you first go Gray Rock, it escalates, okay? But it's worth it, okay? He does scare the shit out of me. He doesn't know that he scares the shit out of me. All he knows is that I'm not intimidated, that I did spend money to take him to the next level, even though he's accusing me. I had to pay money to defend myself. So, again, you have to stand up to the bully, okay? And this is the deal. I can tell you this, that in the communications that I have had with him, he knows he's wrong, and I know he's wrong, okay? And he's doing whatever he can as a smear campaign to convince other people that I'm wrong. Now, it does look like I'm wrong. On the outside, if nobody knows exactly what's going on the outside, it does look wrong, and I don't waste my time or effort explaining or defending myself, okay? And this is an example. If I really wanted to tell the world what's going on, I could. I can legally tell you what I'm going to court for. And it is my own integrity. I'm not going to defend myself to anonymous people, if that makes sense. I'm respecting you, but also I'm saying, okay, in general, I'm not going to spend time shit talking that person. I can shit talk that person with my 2 closest friends who know exactly what's going on. But if I'm shit talking to you and I'm shit talking here and there and anybody I can talk to in the fucking grocery store, the only thing that's going to happen is it's going to damage my reputation. That's all in the end it's going to do. Well, she's a shit talker. Who knows really what was going on? I mean, it looks like this is going on, but she said this and it sounds like she's just gossiping or she wants us to believe, blah, blah, blah. I could come across like the narcissist. Now, the narcissist is doing that. The guy who's accusing me is talking to people and saying negative things and twisting things around, and any effort that I do to try to change someone else's opinion is only going to frustrate me, right? And I'm just protecting me. I need to protect me and my heart and what I know is right. And that's what I'm doing, is I'm fighting for what is right. Okay? Okay, and any other things? Talk to a lawyer. And know that process before you get to court. Familiarize yourself with the court, the actual building, coming in and going out, and when you have to file whatever you have to file, etc. Educate yourself so that, like in my example, I got blindsided by something, and it really threw me for a loop. Is that how you say that saying? Threw me for a loop. It really messed me up. It really messed me up. Okay, so anyway, you know, at the very least, knowing that process, once I was done with the emotional reaction to the thing I had not expected, I was able to go back and say, okay, but as far as the things that were predictable, are you on the right track, Tatiana? Was his behavior exactly how you predicted it? Yes. Therefore, I'm validated. If he was innocent, he would not be doing the things that he's doing. Okay? He does know that he's guilty. Okay. Oh, and that's what I was going to say. So as far as round 3 coming up, he's going to know that the proof that I have is going to be presented to the judge. And he has tried to gaslight me and deflect and distract from the proof that I have. Each time it has come up in communication, he has successfully, to everyone else, been able to get people talking about other shit instead of, yeah, that part makes it look like I'm a guilty party, but this is the proof. Each time the proof comes up, it's a big fucking madhouse, a madhouse of emotion that he turns other people into. So that to me lets me know he does not want that proof. So I don't really know. It would be wonderful if he comes up with a solution prior to court, because that will be submitted as evidence. And he will lose. I got a good lawyer. Anyway, okay, so that's our update and the best that I can do for your survival strategies in real time. I'm giving it to you in real time, except for the real period of time when I was super duper crying. You don't get to see that. That was bad. All right, so I hope that is helpful for you. Like I said, it's just round 2. I will give you another update regarding round 3. I don't want to be arrogant. I still have to make it through round 3. That is my goal and my hope, truly, that he is going to lose. And I can say this. In the end, I'm not going to truly come out. I can't say that I'm going to truly come out a winner in the sense that I'll get everything that this person, is going to take away, without sharing you what's going on. But my goal at this point is actually just for the truth to be declared. I just want the truth. And it's worth fighting for, and having the opportunity to fight for it is worth it. Even though he's scaring the shit out of me, it's worth it. Okay, so you who are going through divorce and all of the other child custody, all of that kind of stuff, my heart goes out to you. I have not had to do that stuff, but I just want to encourage you to hang in there. Continue to stay gray rock. Do your best to, at the very least, not show that person that you are emotionally affected. And know in your heart what your motivation is and stick to it. And of course, keep yourself surrounded by a support system that can validate your emotions. It is difficult to do gray rock in a court setting. It's difficult. And it's emotionally, you need support. Make sure you have people that you're visiting with, having lunch with, having a coffee with, hanging out at their house as soon as you get out of court. Have someone there to support you emotionally the moment that you can get out of there, okay? That is a good survival strategy. All right, my loves, keep praying for me. I'll let you know about round 3 as soon as I can. And in the meantime, as I mentioned in the first round video, give a call to the National Domestic Violence Hotline and ask for resources in your area regarding free lawyer referral services. The first lawyer I spoke to was through my state's free lawyer referral service. The number for the National Domestic Violence Hotline is 1-800-799-SAFE, 1-800-799-SAFE, 1-800-799-7233. Get yourself prepared and stay strong. Much love.